ستيف دلوقتي هيديكوا فكرة عن الديزاين بتاع الكنيسة، ودي حاجة كونسبشوال. طبعا كل حاجة ممكن بتتغير لما يجوا يبنوا يلاقوا حاجة كده، واحنا بنحاول ان احنا عشان تبقوا فاهمين يعني بنحاول نبني مبنى كبير. طبعا في كنيسة كبيرة وكنيسة صغيرة، كنيستين، وفي فصول مدارس أحد، وفي جيم، وبعد كده حضانة وسينيور هوم. هنعملهم طبعا ستيجز لأن معناش فلوس نعمل ده كله، لكن بنعمل الحاجة كنيسة مثلا تبقى كبيرة مرة واحدة عشان دي مش هتكبر تاني. فكل حاجة بنعملها برضو حسب تكلفتها وحسب ظروفها ايه. ففي 5 دقايق هيوريكوا شكل الكنيسة يبقى ايه، وانتوا طبعا كلكم عارفين الأرض وكل ده، والريزونينج ماشي، كل حاجة كويسة. وبالمناسبة دي أشكر إخواتنا في اللجنة وإخواتنا في السب كوميتي بتاعة الديزاين كوميتي. الحقيقة بيجتمعوا كتير وبيبذلوا مجهود كتير، ربنا يعوضهم ويبارك في خدمتهم. وكل اللي بيخدموا في الكنيسة كبار وصغار، سيدات ورجال، وكل واحد.
Thank you, Abuna. Before we share all the renderings and the drawings for the new church, I wanted to explain something that's important so that everyone's expectations are balanced. We're obviously very happy with the design, and we truly feel that it will meet the needs of our congregation for the next several decades, God willing. But at the same time, we still haven't hired the contractor who's going to be building our church. And in order to do that, we need to take this preliminary design into a detailed, completed design. Taban, that requires a significant amount of work, but that's what we need for the contractor to be able to give us a fixed price on what it will cost to build the church. So what we're going to see today is obviously a preliminary design. God willing, after our budget is fixed, after we've sold the land and we know exactly the estimate or the project budget, and we know what from the contractor what it would cost to build what we've designed, there may be some adjustments that are required in order to stay within our budget. With that said, I'm very happy to share with you today the first set of renderings and drawings of our future church. This is a 3D rendering that the architect takes from the plans and the layout of the 3 floors that we've designed so far, and this is what, God willing, it will look like. This is an angle of both of the entrances that are designed for the church. The stairway you see on the left-hand side, this is going to be the main entrance to the main church, the entrance that we take on Sundays, on weddings, on feasts, because the church itself, the main cathedral, is on the 2nd floor of the building. The entrance you see here, this is a secondary entrance, but it is the main entrance to the 1st floor. So this is the entrance that you'll see from the parking lot. This is the entrance that a vast majority of us will be taking on Saturdays, Asheya, Sunday school, liturgies during the week, etc. This is another view of the west side of the church, looking at the main entrance of the church. This section from here to here is where the main church and the floor below the main church are located. The section from this to the left is where all our services building will be located: dining room, kitchen, high school classes, and a 3rd floor that's potentially included in design at the moment, but one of those items that may need to be eliminated if our budget does not allow. On this left side here is left empty because we haven't spent a whole lot of time on this component of the project, but this is where the future gym will be located. It will be parallel to the dining room and kitchen. And this is the view from the street entrance and the parking lot. Again, this is what we're referring to as the main entrance of the first floor. But as you can see, this is the second floor and third floor will be the cathedral, and then below it here, what you see, these windows, these are all the elementary class Sunday school rooms. I'll delve in a little bit deeper into the layout. Hopefully you can understand these engineering drawings. I'll try to explain to you with the colors that we've distinguished here so that you can tell a little bit of the difference. So this is, like I mentioned, the ground floor, the first floor, and this will be the second church. We'll have two churches in the new building. This is likely the church that will have, if we have two simultaneous liturgies, one upstairs, one downstairs, and also the church that will pray on Wednesdays and Fridays and other midweek liturgies. As I mentioned earlier, we were happy to be able to put all 8 of the elementary school classes next to each other, adjacent to the second church, and also getting lots of natural light from the windows on the south side of the building. Here is another important feature I mentioned earlier. This is the main entrance to the ground floor. What we wanted as we entered the church would be an open space, and a space that is very welcoming, very receiving, has lots of natural lights, lots of windows where we can gather. There can be some social interaction. People can enjoy their coffees, maybe their lunch, while they socialize together. This half of the lobby is double height, allowing for additional windows and natural light to come in. And then we see this is the main hallway on the ground floor. Adjacent to this main hallway, we've located an important feature in our church, which is the store and the coffee shop. So our vision here was people can purchase some of the things in the store, have some coffees, and then there be some stand-up tables around or some seating area in the lobby and in this larger corridor where they can sit. Men's and women's bathrooms in the middle of the building, so easily accessible from all aspects of the main floor. And then another important feature here in purple, this is our dining room and kitchen. This dining room, just for your reference, is approximately 3.5 times the size of the dining room we had in the old church. The old church was 1,000 square feet. The dining room was 1,000 square feet. This is approximately 3,300 square feet. And the kitchen adjacent to it directly, so easy access on Sundays for having lunch. Another important feature that I wanted to highlight was this access from the dining room. This will be, inshallah, God willing, nearly 100% glass and doors to allow for a lot of natural light to come into the dining room, but it will also have 2 main access ways to what we're calling a patio, but open space where we can put additional tables in the summer if we want to sit outside and enjoy our lunch. And then here, it's not shown in the rendering, but this is where the future playground for the kids will be located. So parents that want to send their kids to the playground can still sit in the patio, enjoy their lunch, and watch their kids. It will be a covered space, and I'll show you when I get to the second floor here in a second why this is a covered space. One, it allows us obviously to use it more throughout the year if on days that aren't so sunny and might be rainy, but it also acts as a patio for our youth who will have a youth lounge on the second floor. So let's transition to that. So this is the second floor. As you can see, what's in yellow is the biggest feature. Just a second, please. Main Street is south. So this building is located on the north of the property. The entrance from the street is on 88th Avenue. So this is parking lot, yani in the bottom of this portion is parking lot, and then further down is the entrance of the street. When you drive in from the street, what you see is this view, the south view of the church. So the church is located, for your information, the church is located on the north end of the property, and the entrance is on the south end. So the building is on, you'll drive through the parking lot, and then the church is on the back side, opposite to what we had in the old land. Any questions on the entrance of the church? I'll explain to you maybe another day if we have some time why the church was located on the north side of the lot. There was a lot of thought and process that had to go into that difficult decision. So this, Naam? Go back. So this is the second floor. This is, as we mentioned earlier, the main entrance to the church through the stairs, and this is the new cathedral, the primary church, which has a seating capacity of 700 people, nearly 3 times the seating capacity of what we had in the old church. 600 members of the congregation, plus an additional 100 seats for deacons, and then we have the main altar with men's and women's chapel adjacent, with additional altars there if we want to pray multiple liturgies on Sunday. And then a room for Abuna, and then a room for the deacons, with baptistry and crying room attached to the church, both of which will have windows looking onto the church to be able to see the liturgy. This also is an important feature. The narthex is double height narthex, and access from the main door, and then allows access to multiple different rooms. So you can enter the church directly. The families with children can enter the crying room directly, and if need be, can enter the baptistry directly, or can go into the hallway for the high school classes that are all located together on the second floor. And then we have some offices for our priests, as well as a secondary set of bathrooms. Each floor actually has its own set of bathrooms. And then I mentioned this earlier, the rooftop patio for our youth, as well as one additional class that has direct access to this. And you'll see some dotted lines in between some of the classes, both on this floor and on the first floor. This allows us partitions, so a small room can be opened up and made into a larger room. And I say small room, every single room for the classes is significantly bigger than the size of the classes we had previously, but you can combine 2 rooms for an event or a baby shower or whatever we choose to have. And then third floor, which I mentioned previously, is this section here is potentially an optional section depending on the budget, but at least it shows you here the church, the main cathedral, is double height. So this, similar to the gym here, it will have a double height ceiling, and inshallah, the design of that ceiling will be in the shape of a cross. We haven't detailed exactly that yet, so this is just a temporary design for. Again, west view, entrance to the main church, and then south view from the parking lot. Abuna reminded me to show you one other very important feature, which you'll see on every floor, these 2 items here, right? They're located first floor, second floor, third floor. These are stairwell and elevator. For a church or a building, any building that has multiple floor that is open to the public requires accessibility and has elevators for those that want to enter from the main floor and go to the church can take the elevator if they'd like. And so you're aware the next steps of the process. We previously mentioned to you how we submitted a pre-application to the city a few months back in advance of purchasing the land, and that was the instigator, or what motivated us and gave us confidence to purchase this property. Now we need to move into the actual rezoning application, which is a significantly larger application, and we are very close to being ready to submit the paperwork for that, and we're hoping to do so by the end of this month. Simultaneously, while the city is reviewing that application, our job doesn't end there. The detailed design process will take roughly 8, 10, maybe even 12 months. I mentioned to you, the several consultants and contractors that will be eventually building the church. There are hundreds of drawings that need to be produced for them to be able to build that church. And we have all of those sub-consultants produce their own batch of drawings, structural, civil, mechanical, electrical. All of those engineering scopes require their own set of drawings for the contractor to be able to build accurately. So that's what we'll be doing in the next 10 or 12 months, and God willing, hopefully, with your prayers and with God's grace, once we receive the rezoning application, the rezoning permit, and all the drawings are complete, we're hoping to start construction towards the end of next summer or the fall of 2024. So Abuna wanted me to mention that the areas total, the church itself, I think we mentioned it, is roughly 10,000 square feet. الكنيسة القديمة كانت, I don't remember the exact number, but approximately 5,000 square feet. 6,000 if you include crying room and deacon's room and the small church. So obviously capacity of the church will be significantly bigger. The overall building square footage, we went from 16,000 square feet in the old church with a gym to 40,000 square feet in this design, and that does not include the gym. The gym, inshallah, in the next stage of the project, that would be an additional roughly 10,000 square feet for a total of 50,000 square feet. Yes? Yes.
Everything sounds great, actually.
Thank
Yeah, very, very nice. Just I have one concern. I'm not sure if they can change or not, but if it's possible, it would be great. This one here,
Yes.
the dining room.
Yes.
Dining room is 3 times our previous dining room, which was almost nothing. There was not really we'd like to have a bigger one, this size, if possible, so that we can even rent it to other churches if they have weddings and things like that, because 3 times our previous one is still not big enough.
So I hear what you're saying. طبعا every square foot we add, it adds cost. And then the footprint of the building, one of the things we were trying to do, hence why we went to 3 stories, is we want to limit the size of the footprint of the building. There's a cost component to that footprint. The foundation that's required for a larger building is more costly than the foundation that's required for a slightly smaller building, even if you go up 3 floors. But we will, thank you, we'll take that into, yes, thank you. And yes, they mentioned this, you mentioned something important, renting of the dining room. We have direct access here for that purpose, and we do anticipate renting the dining room, but there is also direct access to the future gym. The gym, as I mentioned, is roughly 10,000 square feet. So we have some flexibility in how we use that space. If we want to use it on a large event, when the dining room is at capacity, say on feasts and Eid, then we have overflow capacity in the gym if we need it as well. Yes, Halim. No, the first floor is at ground level. There is no basement. Lots of reasoning why there is no basement, but to summarize, is primarily cost, and two, there are no windows in the basement, so we wanted to maximize the amount of sunlight specifically for the features that are on the first floor, which includes all the elementary classes and the second church.
طبعا الارض دي 5 ايكر ريكتانجولار، الاتجاه بتاعها ساوث نورث. اتجاه الريكتانجولار بتاع الارض ده ساوث نورث، ولابد الكنيسه القبطيه لو هتبنيها لازم تبقى اتجاهها ناحيه الشرق. لكن لو هتشتريها جاهزه زي الكنيسه القديمه، الكنيسه القديمه ما كانتش شرق، الكنيسه القديمه بس اشتريناها جاهزه كده فما بنعرفش نغير، مش هتعرف تلف المبنى يعني. لكن البابا بيشترط انه لو هتبني كنيسه قبطيه لازم يبقى اتجاه ناحيه الايست، عشان كده عملنا الكنيسه في الاول هتبقى بالعرض كده. طبعا هي لو اتجاه الارض كان ايست ويست مثلا كنا عملناها بالطول. دي نقطه. النقطه الثانيه الدايننج روم اللي احنا رسمينها دي 3400 سكوير فيت، دي 3.5 مرات قد الدايننج روم القديمه، بس دي لاستخدام الكنيسه. علشان تأجر الناس ما بيحبوش لو سيلينج، يأجر الجيم هيبقى فيه جيم وسياتر 10,000 سكوير فيت، وبيبقى فيه بقى هاي سيلينج، وهيبقى فيه الرسمه بتاعته، بس احنا مش حاطينه دلوقتي لان الاولويه الكنيسه وفصول مدارس الاحد والدايننج روم. المرحله الثانيه بقى هو الجيم ده هيبقى يتأجر كجيم وكسياتر، وممكن ليه الحفلات والريسبشن. علشان كده عملنا الكيتشن ما بين الدايننج روم بتاعه الكنيسه وما بين الجيم، لان ممكن في افراح مثلا هنأجروا الجيم ده يأجروه، فده هيبقى مساحه كبيره جدا، وهو ده اللي ممكن هنأجره سواء كجيم او كريسبشن او كمطعم، ونستخدمه ايضا ككنيسه في الاعياد. لكن في الايام العاديه الكباسيتي بتاعه الدايننج روم كام كرسي احنا فيها؟ ماشي، عد انت وضرب
30 times 8 240.
دولت 250 واحد، ده الجايننج روم الصغيره. لكن بعد كده لو حد هيحضر عايز يعمل افراح بيفضلوا هم الهاي سيلينج اللي يعرف يعمل فيه ديكوريشن وحاجات زي كده، ده اللي هنعمله فيه الجيم. حد فيه سؤال تاني للسيف عشان اديكم لقمه البركه زمانكم وقتوا؟ طبعا بعد كده في رسمه برضو للدي كير، لان دي مهمه هنا للسيتي وبتدخل دخل للكنيسه، ومستقبلا بقى ان شاء الله انتوا واولادكم تبنوا سينيور هوم في البتاع.
اقتراح ان الجيم ينفع يتأجر از دايننج روم او از مناسبات او كده، يعني الهاي سيلينج اوكي اتس جود، بس الجيم نفسه الارض بتاعت الجيم والديكوريشن بتاعت الجيم والابلاينس اللي في الجيم ديفرنت ذان قاعه تتأجر لافراح وكده. فهل ممكن الجيم يبقى برضه في السكند ستيج بس يبقى 2 ليفل قاعه، مش مهم الهاي سيلينج قوي، بس تبقى بيلت از قاعه تتأجر للمناسبات وكده؟
Are you suggesting a third story on top of the gym? Yeah, so gyms structurally, because of the huge spans, they are not easily able to support an additional floor on top of them. That's when we looked at the old church trying to build on top of that gym, it was impossible. And even when we suggested it to the architect this time as a brand new construction, it's still very difficult to build another floor on top of a gym because of the big spans, unsupported spans in the middle.
طبعا دي فكرة كويسة، بس أنا عايز أفهمك إنه الجيم ده مش جيم عادي، ده جيم وسياتر، فيه سياتر كبير لذلك مساحته 10,000 سكوير فيت. السياتر ده ينفع لحفلات الكنيسة بتاعتنا والاكتيفيتي بتاعتنا، وفي نفس الوقت ينفع للأفراح لأنه بيحتاجوا دايما الهاي سيلينج. لكن عشان نبني قاعة بس هنأجرها كم مرة في السنة وتفضل مقفولة طول السنة، يعني ديت هتبقى عايزة فلوس كتير بصراحة. يعني ما عندناش الاوبشن ده خالص. يعني احنا بنستغل كل حاجة في الكنيسة. يعني زي ما تشوف في فصول مدارس الأحد فيه 3 فصول عاملينهم بورتابل بارتيشن بحيث انها تتفتح، يبقى تكفي تبقى 1500 سكوير فيت، علشان برضو خدمة افتتاحية في حفلة في العيد بنقدر نستخدم نفس المكان، لأن برضو تكلفة المباني دلوقتي غليت جدا جدا. وكويس ان انت فكرتني بالحكاية ديت. محتاجين تبرعاتكم كتير جدا جدا، لانه المباني غليت والمواد بتاعة الكونستراكشن زادت جدا. ده كفاية الأكل، إذا كان البصل غلي في مصر فما بالك هنا المباني عملت إيه؟ محتاجين بصل كتير. حد عنده سؤال تاني عشان تروحوا؟ فطبعا هو طبعا كل ده يعتمد على بعد إن شاء الله، بعد ما ناخد الريزونينج والسنة الجاية إن شاء الله هنبيع الأرض بقى إن شاء الله، يعني الأرض القديمة. وده كله ربنا يبعت فلوس كتير وتبرعاتكم. والجيم أيضا ده حاجة مهمة، يعني أنا ما حطيتوش في الرسم في الأول، لأن هبتدي بالكنيسة والفصول والدايننج روم، وبعدين بعد كده وراهم على طول لازم هنبني الجيم، لأن ده مهم للكنيسة جدا، سواء إنه بيجيب دخل أو مهم للولاد يلعبوا في الجيم أو للحفلات أو كده. حد عنده سؤال تاني لستيف قبل ما يمشي؟ محبة الله الآب ونعمة الابن الوحيد ربنا وإلهنا مخلصنا يسوع المسيح، شركة وموهبة وعطية الروح القدس تكون مع جميعكم. امضوا بسلام، سلام الرب يكون مع جميعكم. عايز أقول لكم على حاجة قبل ما تمشوا. طبعا المبنى اللي فيه جاذرنج لناس كتير ده بيبقى له كود مختلف، يعني شروط للبنى مختلفة عن البيوت، عن أي مبنى عادي. ومن كمان شهر 11 اللي جاي ده الكود ده هيتغير للأسف، هيتغير يعني كل مادة، لأن طبعا الزلازل اللي حصلت في تركيا وكده خلت الناس هنا عايزين ياخدوا بريكوشنز عشان السيفتي، إن مهما حصل زلزال شديد قوي المبنى ده ما يوقعش، فده بيزود تكلفة المباني. عشان كده اخترنا النورث سيرد آخر حتة في الأرض، لأن دي تربطها علشان نبني فيها مبنى بالمواصفات ديت تبقى أقل تكلفة. ده السر يعني، بس ما تقولوش لحد يعني. محبة الله الآب ونعمة الابن الوحيد ربنا ولنا مخلصنا يسوع المسيح، شركة وموهبة وعطية الروح القدس تكون مع جميعكم. امضوا بسلام، سلام الرب